Street by street, one alleyway at a time, each ward within the city is receiving attention as a comprehensive plan to restore Georgetown as a garden city of the Caribbean unfolds. On this section of Guyana 411, we take a look at some of the work being done and the people's response. I am Glendon Greenidge, and you are watching Guyana 411. Stay tuned. A few weeks ago, traversing around central Georgetown was an exercise that demanded high levels of dexterity and total concentration. In the dry weather, vehicles and pedestrians competed for space as drivers sought to avoid potholes that were likely to damage the underside of their vehicles. In the rainy season, it was a competition for the high spots close to the parapets. Now, while you still have to give the road your total concentration, at least the competition for high ground is no more. Lots of roads in Georgetown were not originally designed to accommodate the amount of cars that is currently seen. Therefore, when they are allowed to plummet to a serious state of disrepair, it results in huge buildup of traffic as drivers have to carefully negotiate potholes.
Recently, we have done a thorough investigation of these roads and the state that they are in. So what we do, we assess and we bring up a cost attached to it, and then we, by instruction of the minister, we fix the main access roads, which are accessible by the majority of the population.
Can you please give me an idea of some of the roads that would have been recently rehabilitated?
Well, the most recent one is the Avenue Republic, right in front of the Magistrates Court. Now, that road over a period of time have been tremendously traversed by a lot of traffic. Not only the amount of traffic, the weight that has been accessed on that road. And due to the change in weather, the climate change, there has been a lot of rainfall that has also contributed to the deterioration of that road. So we came in and we assessed the road and we resurfaced the road. Presently, we have a huge backlog of work. Presently, we have to also go back on the East Bank, because the East Bank from time to time has been deteriorating in a lot of sections. So we plan to do some work on the East Bank, East Coast, and for example, some work also on Mandela Avenue, because I think next year the Mandela Sheriff Street project will be starting next year, but we have to keep it, smooth until that project starts. Roads also, for example, the Vicingen Road, Cemetery Road. We have done recent works on Hatfield Street, which we also need to complete. We also done works on South Road, Kroll Street and South Road. And we'll be looking at, next in line, we'll be looking at Albert Street. Albert Street right now is in a terrible state of deterioration.
This situation has over the past few weeks been rectified, bringing much needed relief both to pedestrians and drivers. Some of the roads that were recently rehabilitated are the Avenue of the Republic outside the Magistrates Court, Hatfield Street behind the Ministry of Health, Cemetery Road, sections of Vicingen Road, South Road from King Street to Vicingen Road, sections of Crow Street, Adelaide Street, and sections of Princess Street.
Right now, within a month's time, we'll be doing work in Linden. That's the road from the bridge to the hospital. Now, that road has been significantly deteriorated. Right now, we're doing the assessment of that piece of section, and we're going to resurface that section and bring it smooth and comfortable so that the ambulance could at least enter in and out of the hospital. And also, not only that section, I think the piece of section, the asphalt section that's going to Mabura Road, we're going to do some repairs on that road also. And also within the city. Bartica, we have some maintenance work for Bartica. That's before December. Some work that will, bring some relief to the residents in Bartica. This year, on the maintenance of roads, we have $829 million. That's for the whole entire country. That also includes roads in Bartica, roads in Linden, the Linden-Kokwani Road, Um, Roads are seen as equipable, Borbies, um, in the whole entire country. But primarily, we look at the main access roads.
Whilst the Force Account Unit of the Public Infrastructure Ministry has been busy ensuring declared public roads are passable and in a good state of repair, residents of communities are benefiting from the administration's cleanup efforts.
Part of my task is to work with communities to ensure that we can engage in the kinds of emergency works to alleviate the suffering in terms of flooding and garbage disposal or lack of garbage disposal, and the whole issue of debris collection and removal and carpet cleaning and that kind of thing. That's what we've been involved in the last couple of months very successfully, and our interventions have been in almost every constituency across Georgetown. We have embarked on an exercise cleaning the major canals and empoldering these areas, encircling these areas, trying to at least see how we could get water off the lands and off the residences, and at the same time clearing streets that were blocked with debris for years.
Where are we now?
We are in Shoppers Lane, West Rheinveld, and my understanding is this area has not been cleaned for more than 20 years. So on behalf of the Ministry of Public Infrastructure and the Government of Guyana, we're pleased to be partnering with the residents in this area, with the community as a whole, to ensure that they get the optimum benefits from this new government.
What is the sustainability plan? I mean, I know we don't want a situation whereas it builds up. We come and we clean it, and after cleaning, the old habit continues. Certainly there must be a sustainable plan that involves residents of the community. What can you tell me to that? Can you be able to speak to that?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because what we're attempting to do and what we've done successfully in other areas is attempt to engage the community fully in all aspects of these operations so they understand what we are doing, and we start to work hand in glove, because we want them to come on board in relation to maintenance. We're looking at the possibilities and the potential for small-scale contracts as it relates to maintenance of these canals, maintenance of the parapets, maintenance of the drains as a whole. So that's a win-win for every community we participate in. Because you certainly don't want to be taking jobs out of the community. You would have heard the president talking about bringing jobs into the community. So part of what we're doing here is community empowerment as well. Because in most of these communities in which we work, we try to leave some tools, wheelbarrows, cutlasses, criminals, rakes, to assist them in their own individual and collective cleanup efforts.
From this street to this street, all through connected, but before they came and started working on it, it was like just a pathway, because actually the road was buried and the dirt and stuff was high, okay? And it's like it was dirty and everybody throwing the trash over here and all of that. And when they came, it was like, when I woke up this morning, I heard the people talking and the work going on, and I came on and I saw, like, I could actually see the road that I couldn't see how many years ago, and that was since I was a kid. Yeah, the road was really bad. No cars couldn't come through, up to the point where actually this house is, the garbage was all the way on the road. So, and it's actually we're grateful that they actually did this. They came and did this.
The Ministry of Public Infrastructure's Force Account Unit benefited from a budgetary allocation of $829 million, which will be spent to rehabilitate Vicinjon Road, Water Street, Thomas Road, Mandela Avenue, Seawall Road, Railway Embankment, East Bank Demerara Carriageway, East Coast Demerara Carriageway, Linden Soosdijk Highway, and the University of Guyana Road. For decades, there have been complaints about the state of the Border Cemetery. In fact, you may say that we had given up hope that something would have been done to clear this area up. Recent activities show us that we should never give up hope.
A few weeks back, you would have avoided a section of pavement on Regent Street alongside the Border Cemetery. If you had to pass, you would have averted your eyes from the garbage heap that had taken over the ground. You would have also been unable to avoid the stench of urine on other human excrement. Today, the garbage is gone and you can actually breathe whilst passing Border Cemetery. A Herculean cleanup effort saw the removal of tons of garbage and overgrown weeds that had taken over the cemetery.
The cleanup activity here, we call this Operation Clean Sweep. We came here to work with a contract from the city council, and we're here cleaning up. It was very dirty, and we are busy cleaning up. We're not actually finished yet. But what you're seeing here is 3/4 of the cleanup, okay? And it's over like 300 containers come out of here of rubbish, all right? It was very dirty, but we get it clean so far.
In the past, there had been sporadic efforts to clean the Border Cemetery. As recent as December 2014, the Georgetown Prison Service was contracted to clean up this area. What is needed, however, is the cooperation of all citizens to ensure that the area does not return to being used as a dump site.
Guyana is a country that has superb natural beauty and resources, diverse in its forestry, its rivers, soil types, minerals, and numerous waterfalls. A multi-ethnic population, and comparatively speaking, when we look at the countries in the Caribbean and Latin America, we are one of the largest countries in this part of the region. We're also famous as the land of hospitality. And you know this only too well. It doesn't matter who you are, what color, what ethnicity, what religion. People feel very insulted if they offer you something, maybe a drink of coconut water or a roti and curry, and you said, no, you don't want it. Okay, that's the tradition. The tradition is we are a hospitable people. And we're also known as the city of El Dorado, historically. You know, from the days of Sir Walter Raleigh, that this was always, Guyana was supposed to be the place where the golden city of Manoa, the indigenous people, or the chiefs, used to cover themselves with gold dust. However, over time we have slipped. We are no longer really, yes, we're still hospitable people, but we also have crime and we have a lot of dysfunctionality in our society. Over the years, we've had numerous studies done. There are reports, letters to the editor, commentaries, public proposals, sustained call from the citizens for a cleaner, safer, and more sustainable place. But many of these initiatives were never implemented. We've actually had studies about studies. You know, packing up, stacking up. What we need is the solutions and the implementation of those solutions. Along the way, we have failed to do a number of things. We've failed to enforce laws and standards. The Cabinet's vision, and I hope this is a vision that we all share, the vision is for a rehabilitated, restored, and renewed Guyana, where civic pride is restored, all Guyanese enjoy a reasonable standard of living or a good life, and that Guyana becomes a hub for commerce, tourism, and development.
Over the years, the cemetery had fallen into such a state of total neglect that it would have been impossible to believe that some of the more prominent citizens of Guyana's colonial past were buried there. Border Cemetery is the oldest such location in Georgetown. In fact, you can say that the cemetery is a historical site. In 1960, the Historical Society had organized a campaign to save the Border Cemetery when it came under threat. Then, in 1992, there was a proposal to relocate the cemetery to accommodate the continuation of Charlotte Street. But the Guyana Heritage Society was able to secure an injunction to prevent this from happening. In the fresh approach to a green economy, we need to adopt clean habits. Let us not throw garbage where it doesn't belong.
We have looked at the cleanup of roads, drains, canals, and cemetery. But what about a place where persons can go to relax or where young people can engage in some healthy exercises?
Durban Park has been revived into an area where persons can go and relax. The entire area and its immediate surroundings have undergone major transformation. Even along Homestretch Avenue to Square of the Revolution, the Independence Arch, and the YWCA, everywhere has a fresh look. The Restore Guyana initiative has certainly brought out the patriotism in Guyanese everywhere. It started with the preparations for the swearing in of Guyana's 8th executive president, which gave way to the flag-raising ceremony on Guyana's 49th independence anniversary. Clean Up Guyana, as it is known, is now happening all across the country. In Georgetown, where government, corporate, and private citizens are hard at work, there seems to be an all-out effort to reclaim the title Garden City of the Caribbean, and Durban Park is one of the areas that has had a major facelift. This is to facilitate the government's plans of making the area a recreational facility, especially for the youths of Georgetown.
I actually attended races there, and that's why the extension of Crow Street is still called Homestretch Avenue, because that was the home stretch after the horses came around. But it was meant to be a civic center. There was a plan by the previous administration, the PNC administration, to put civic buildings, public buildings there. And we want to, at another point in time, there was an intention that it should be used like for football in the afternoons, so children from nearby in Lodge and other areas could come and play football. And there's no concept that it should be used for the 50th anniversary celebration, so there could be some public displays there. So we want to keep it open, we want to keep it green, and we want to make it accessible to the citizens of Georgetown. I don't want to see a housing scheme there.
If you are to visit the Square of the Revolution, famous for the 1763 monument or coffee statue, you will certainly be taken aback with the view that can be had of the Durban Park area. You would realize that you can now see clear through Hatfield Street and the many houses that line the roadway. A few months ago, this was impossible because of the heavy vegetation. At the Square of the Revolution, mothers and fathers can be seen pushing their babies, while small children can now play in a clean, safe space. Though it may not be the ideal football field, young men have gravitated to the safety of the area for a game of football, or as we say in local Guyanese parlance, a scrubby. So whether you have football boots or not, it does not matter. Here is a clean ground where many young men can engage in wholesome activities that keep them out of danger. And the not so young are also enjoying the clean space.
I think it's a very good thing. I tell you that as a small boy, I used to run around this place, the race course. I used to attend St. Cyril School as a small boy, so I used to run around here. Okay? Play everything, football, cricket right there as a small boy.
What was it like then?
It was a race course. You see the name of that place, Homestretch Avenue, because there was this Homestretch, the finishing line by the grandstand, they call with the Ministry of thing there now, Ministry of Sports.
Okay.
There was the grandstand. So when you see the swing this corner here, you call it St. Cyril's turn. And head to the next turn, straight up the home stretch.
So your boyhood days there, you're coming back to
Yes, yes. I could tell you, I feel proud, very proud, because personally sometimes I used to come here and pick up stuff for the morning between 5 and 6 o'clock. I've got to work 8 o'clock and clean this place. You see, I got three drums over there. Eddie Collins bring it.
Okay.
And we put thing around it. Chain and lock pocket, padlock it. Got people, but I still come, I look after the church.
Okay.
Around this compound I look after. That around there, the prisoners come once a month to me and get it tied up and weed and clean up. The bricks around there, I paint them myself.
Okay.
The bricks in front of the church, by the church, you see bricks, I paint them. So I beautify around here.
I feel good about it because more people is coming and everybody said they feel light and people is coming to sit down sometimes till after 12 and so whole night. So yeah, because I used to stop for 9 hours, staying out a little bit later because it's getting people is coming.
Yeah, so do you think that this is going to be a good thing for the young people to come? And I see there's some boys over there playing football or so.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing for the young people to come and stop climbing and find games to play and those things.
Normally I used to go pick up my daughter from school and some afternoon we would sit here, me and my daughter, and we would, me and she with calf. I like the place. I like the place that we look in, the monuments. Most of all that are really, I was watching, they put up a signboard there, nobody mustn't sit on the monument. The place so tidy, clean, the environment could entertain.
When the work started about 2 weeks or so ago, I came out and the view of the youths coming in this little corner, have their little pastime or recreation, whatever it may be. And to be told that just beyond is a great facility where the youngsters are able to display some skills, recreation, and to some extent keep them out of trouble. On the note of having people watch them play, everybody likes to know it to some extent. They recognize for the little things they do. And a facility like that would certainly give them something that, hey, at least the things I'm good for is being recognized. Well, the truth, Georgetown needs a few more facilities, and this one certainly developing to be one that after work people, could come sit down, just relax after a hard day's work, reflect on the day ahead, and just catch themselves, and probably look for another day's activity.
My girlfriend from Lodge, that is 40 years now. I walk into here. I used to walk from Kitty to here, right? And this place was never like this condition. How big? It's a jungle. That was jungle. The jungle right in Georgetown. Durban Park. Here was the horse racing place. But I know what the horse because I was small by a toddler then. But they had the bandstand there. The fight along, and they had the horse race. It's good that if they could bring it back here.
It has been said that governments that do not appreciate the need to provide recreational spaces, especially for the youths and more particularly in densely populated areas, do not understand the importance of social engineering. And those who do not understand this need are often saddled with social problems which they cannot explain. The cleanup of Durban Park and its environs is aimed at ensuring the young and not so young have a place where they can relax. It is all part of the Clean Up Guyana initiative that started with the coming into office of the David Granger-led administration. It is about the restoration of Guyana.
There are many adults around the world who would tell you that in the 60s, 70s, and even in the 1980s, Guyana was a very clean place. In Georgetown, the drains were so clean that children could play in them, flowers lined the streets, and there was no garbage on the parapets. In the 1990s, however, things changed and the environment became filthy. Garbage could be seen at almost every corner. Now there is an all-out effort to clean up this country. Project Restore Guyana will rebrand the country as a place where all citizens, corporate and private, can work towards a wholesome environment and a country. The project targets drainage and traffic management, sustainable urban, rural and hinterland physical infrastructure renewal, rebranding Guyana through the restoration of ethical attitudes and responsible social behavior by all citizens, solid waste management and derelict vehicle removal, and welfare management of the homeless. The project aims to restore Guyana as a land of attractiveness and prosperity, one which offers a good life for citizens and visitors alike.
The Cabinet's vision, and I hope this is a vision that we all share, the vision is for a rehabilitated, restored and renewed Guyana, where civic pride is restored, all Guyanese enjoy a reasonable standard of living or a good life, and that Guyana becomes a hub for commerce, tourism and development.
Whilst the task force's mandate is to rehabilitate, restore and renew Guyana, all Guyanese have a part to play, and as such, the Commission has been conducting consultation sessions nationwide. Recently, this process was taken to Region 2. The goals of the project were outlined and participants had the opportunity to raise concerns regarding their environment and provide their own recommendations.
This is a team effort, but from a counting standpoint, it's the REO and the subject heads or department heads that to a large extent will be driving this program. And it is not restricted only to the officials who are employed by the RDC. It is a regional effort. So non-governmental organizations, civil society organizations, including women's groups, youth organizations, indigenous peoples representatives, we're all involved in this. The churches are involved, and youth organizations. You need to see connectivity here. You need to see job creation, a healthy lifestyle, reduction of diseases, care for the environment, academic education, civic education, more responsible citizenship. All of these things are integrated. So this is not a standalone project. This project has to be fully integrated.
Region 2 was commended for being on top of the list in terms of sanitation. However, there are deficiencies in some areas, and the regional administration was urged to adopt the vision of the task force to further enhance the region.
It was a great pleasure this morning to come off the Stelling at Good Hope and drive through to Cottonfield, and then from Cottonfield to come to the Regina office, the State House, and not to see any garbage at the side of the road. My driver and I traveled to Region 3, Region 4, Region 5, Region 6, and Region 10 over the last 2 weeks. And this area between Good Hope or Supernam and here is the cleanest we've seen in the country. Certainly the appearance on the road. But when the chairman took me to Charity, it was a different kettle of fish. So the NDC at Charity has to do a lot of work, because it's not just about several villages, it's about the whole region. And this is what this is all about. Occasional flooding in many areas. The chairman took me to Charity to see the dam on the left bank of the Pomeroon River, which has been sinking. The difference is almost 2 feet. And their houses and the settlement there or the community there are threatened. These are very important areas that we have to address. And how we do this, whether through your own efforts or where you need assistance from the subject ministries, these are some of the things that we have to talk about. I saw, for example, the CARICOM rice mill, and I inquired, what is the plan for this? Because it looks like an eyesore. Sometimes you take it for granted, you pass there all the time, but then for a new person coming into the area, I haven't been here for quite some time. So when I saw that, it stuck out like a sore thumb. What is the plan that CARICOM Rice Mills has for that infrastructure? Are they going to dismantle it, sell it as scrap, use the land more productively, surrender it to the state? There must be a plan. Lack of physical planning for growth and development, growth and renewal. And I touched on this earlier. A lack of routine and necessary maintenance. You're well aware that if you have a bountiful rice crop but the dams are not in order, then you have difficulty to access the dam, or during land preparation, or if the canals are not cleaned or desilted, then it creates havoc in terms of the productivity. And a general neglect of the poor, the homeless, the aged, the disabled, and other unfortunate ones. Here, I would like to add those with a propensity for suicide, but that is a major issue in your region.
The first phase of the project is to be completed by May 26, 2016, when Guyana will be celebrating 50 years as an independent nation. Between September and October, a report of efforts and a draft restoration plan, including details and the budget for Phase 1 of the activities, should be completed. By November, the final restoration plan should be ready, and this will be taken to Cabinet for final approval. From then on to May 26, 2016, the project will be implemented and carefully monitored.
Thank you for watching Guyana 411. Until next week, remember to keep your environment clean.